want to do is kind of go beyond using CrossFit or using kind of functional movements and having big lungs to improve athletic performance, but also use it as a way to reconcile the kind of disparate old pieces, the old broken sections, the old kind of dysfunctional old injuries that you had, the fact that you sit at a desk, the fact that you carried twins around for 16 months, and what's cool is that you already have this skill set. When we started CrossFitting, I was just a young physical therapy student, and I think there were 3 CrossFits, and of course I found it and I was like, holy crap, this thing's amazing, I love this. And then we were just training athletes and former friends who were super jocks, like my wife is a 3-time world champion athlete, and she does not feel pain. And she was a rower at Cal, she's a super jock, and fortunately for my daughters, you inherit your mother's mitochondria, so your metabolic machine is all maternal DNA. My daughters are very stoked. But when I started training more and more people and coaching more and more people who weren't just Olympians and my wife, we started to realize we were catching all of the problems. Every single twisted ankle that happened in the 8th grade, every single kind of old hip injury, every soccer ACL, fighting, scar. I was born with 3 kidneys, they took 2 out. Every single thing that we saw, we caught in our gym. And I thought originally, I was like, well, what's going on here? And I thought maybe it was because we were being irresponsible with the CrossFit, and I say the CrossFit like the consumption or taking the drink. And what was happening is people were getting out of the car and warming up for Fran. And then they were doing triple Fran to get back and cooling down, and they were, God, I'm so stiff, what's happening? I don't understand. And of course, your body was like, no problem, bro, I got you. You're gonna treat me like that? Boom, stiff. And we weren't warming up, we weren't cooling down, but we are paying attention to those details. And really quickly we realized, intensity is a harsh mistress, and you've got to manage all of the elements in order to kind of be, embody this task that is kind of to be, generally prepared athlete. Well, then the second thing started to happen is that we started, have moms and dads and not super jocks, and we're catching every single problem, even though we were well prepared. And what made me start to think was, wow, CrossFit is turning out to be the most effective way to find flaws and inefficiencies in human movement I've ever seen. So the problem is to be good at our sport and to use our programming correctly, you have to be a weightlifting sprinter gymnast, right? And we use this model that Adrian Bosman, who is one of the CrossFit super coaches and a coach at our gym, my training partner, we used to train for the circus and acrobatics, and he'd come off and he'd done this very scary full layout, double flipping, scary twisting thing and landed it, and his Russian strength coach, Dmitry, who would just basically turn on the chair and smoke and coach, you can see the Russian Dmitry like that. And Adrian's like, well, how did I do, Dmitry? And he was like, more of everything. And that was just cute, more of everything. And the problem with this sport is you need more of everything. And if we're missing a range, we're missing a piece, we're going to find it. And if you're missing an inefficiency, you're going to find it. And what's nice about that is that now I have another language and vocabulary about people coming in. I can find their inefficiencies, I can find their holes, I can resolve their movement dysfunctions, because that's the palette that we use. That's the movement fluency we expect people to have. But at the same time, I can take the best in the world and say, hey, I can make you more efficient. It can make you more effective. And that we start to see these best practices. And what's happening now is that people come to this program, this sport, and the very first time they do Fran, it's like 5 minutes. And they're all embarrassed by it. I did a 5-minute Fran, I'm so embarrassed. And you're like, holy crap, like what's up? And what's happening is that the secret is out about work intensity. People are coming now and are training hard. People are squatting. People are powerlifting. My mom Olympic lifts. My mom called me and she's like, I PR'd in my clean. I'm like, Mom, you're 67. What happened? Cats are sleeping with dogs. I mean, it's a brave new world out there. And so the secret's out. But what we're finding is that we have to pay detail and pay attention to the details of the whole picture. And in order to support this level of training, to support this level of output, and to support the kind of manifesto of creating broad, stable, badass human beings, we really have to manage all of the kind of corollary and correlate details. And you know this is truth. Fish oil, how many people in here take fish oil? Why are you taking fish oil? Yes, right? Because I go faster. Because it supports my exercise, it supports my training program, because I have to. Because I have to manage inflammation. Because I have to, that's kind of the level of detail and kind of and meticulous nature that it takes to do this thing. Well, what I'm going to say is that, you know, paying attention to joint position, tissue health, hydration, these are elements of the same feature. And we're seeing more and more athletes who realize if we're going to play at this level, if we're going to kind of maintain this level of fitness and power output and wattage, then all of the details really start to aggregate and matter. Remember that book called Born to Run? Well, it has this unique and novel concept that when you have biomechanical pain from running or any movement or some pain deficiency, that's the only way that your body can tell you're in a bad position, that your mechanics are off. And by the time you've worn a hole in your kneecap, you know, you've herniated a disc or destroyed the labrum in your shoulder, it's literally like you woke up today and be like, today's the day, I'm ending it. Kneecap, I'm going to put you out of your misery today. Because we make some assumptions, and one of the assumptions is that the resting state of the human being is pain-free. Pain-free. Like, there's zero discomfort in the human being. You're designed to just be normal. That's your normal resting state. And if that's the truth, how many of us in here, and let's make an agreement. If you raise your hand has to stay up, okay? How many people in here have a neck problem? Raise your hand. If you can, raise your hand. If your arm doesn't go numb, let me know, it's okay. Can you get it up higher? Actually, full extension, shoulder forward, head tall, good. How many people in here also have a shoulder problem, or have a shoulder problem? Right? How many people in here have two shoulder problems? Right, we can put both up, count them. Right? How many people in here have a low back problem? Keep your hands up. How many people in here have a hip problem? How many people in here have a knee problem? How many people in here have an ankle problem? How about a plantar fascia problem? How about a heel cord problem? Look around. What's up with you people? Put your arms down. Right? There's two things going on. Either you guys were very, very lazy children, ate a lot of cereal, and didn't exercise much, or we found a program that's really found out all the inefficiencies. And we found out all the flaws and all the movement mechanics and the bad posture you got from your mom and your dad.